Good morning. We're delighted to be here with you guys today. We might cover any variety of topics today as you're singing. I think just about everything will be fair game for us, but we want to also keep it a little bit more informal and just conversational. And so we might be engaging you as audience members, even though you're not maybe the person up here singing.
It's really important to us that we do keep that dialogue, that if you have questions or if we say something that doesn't make sense. Harold and I have been doing this a long time. We've been married for 27 years, singing together for 28 or 29 or something crazy like that. So we have a lot to say.
So we're old.
So we're old.
Trying to say.
Yes. No, our new word is seasoned. We're not
seasoned.
old, we are seasoned. So we really welcome this conversation. This isn't about you standing up here and making this very formal. This is about us all learning together and working together and see what we can come up with. But we will address technique, likely text, performance skills, whatever. Maybe even talk about business stuff.
Style.
Yeah.
Practical things, practical operational things while you're singing. So all this kind of stuff.
If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I like having this more informal than formal.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I think Veronica is first. Yeah?
All right.
And you go ahead and just introduce what you're doing. Do you have anything in particular that you're wanting to work on? And it's okay if you don't.
I think let's see how it goes. And then,
See how it goes?
yeah.
Okay,
I like that.
Alright, so hello, my name is Veronica Garcia and I will be singing De Los Álamos Vengo Madre by Joaquín Rodrigo. Certain spots, I think at some points it could have been better. Yeah.
Would you like me to address something technical or something?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. She stops me right there. So, one of the important parts of singing freely or openly is making sure that the jaw is released. Is this something that has been addressed with you before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about that before I say what I'd like to say.
So I generally have a lot of jaw tension, and
why do you think that is?
I think part of it is I'm not using enough here. I'm using too much here.
Interesting. Okay.
And
good.
I think I And part of it is just like I tense up, and I've just built bad habits over time.
Okay.
So
So one of the first ways that we can release the jaw is through the inhalation. So for the singers in the room, and even for the non-singers, everyone just open their mouth. Just let it hang there, and just breathe. Don't force air in. You can feel that the jaw just wants to hang, right? Now take one with the jaw gripped. What happens to the throat? Or the tongue? Everything clenches, right? So now I challenge you to take this easy breath. And we make our inhalation as singers so complicated. So complicated. But we don't need to. All we need to do is just breathe like human beings, like you do thousands and thousands of times a day. So if you open your mouth again, and can we just have the first phrase, please, Fabio? And you can just play the notes for her, and I'm just going to let her sing a cappella for a moment. You feel that release in the jaw? Go ahead and try it, just even on vowels or sounds. Whatever. Good. Good. What do you notice? What do you notice?
sometimes I feel like my tongue goes back a little bit.
And it's actually not a bad thing, and this may be heretical for all of you, but Harold and I both aspire to keeping the tongue released. Why is that? Okay, I'm going to say lots of things, and we'll keep addressing them over and over. But the tongue is attached to the top of the larynx, or the hyoid bone, right? So everyone put your finger here if you're comfortable. And if you swallow, you feel your tongue press against your finger, right? So if my tongue is just sitting released in the mouth, like I showed you with your breath, do you feel tension at the base of your tongue at all? If you just take a gentle breath? And the tongue is actually sitting quite fat in the mouth. So look at my tongue a minute. And it allows my throat to stay more open. If I jut it forward, hear my voice get strident?
Yeah.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So try that breath again. Let your tongue just sit dumb in the mouth, open tall, release the jaw. Try. Do you feel the kick and change?
Yeah.
And it's not so much that the tongue is pulling back as much as it's pressing down.
Okay.
Just let it sit dumb in the mouth and see what sound comes out, right? That's the hard part. What'd you hear? I know. Yeah, that's actually not unusual that you get that choky feeling because the muscle is wanting to grip as opposed to it staying released. So you get this sort of like, I don't know what to do in my throat. But what did you hear in the sound? It was warmer all of a sudden, wasn't it? Really interesting effect when we take the grip of the jaw/tongue/neck and all of it's connected. And you're not wrong, part of it is the breath or the support. But I just want you to start with that release feeling, okay? Try it again.
One more second.
It's all good, it's all good. Thank you for the new key. It's beautiful. Try it now with text.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. So what I'm noticing is on those more forward vowels like E and A, we get more release behind the tongue, which is not unusual because the tongue likes to arch on those vowels. But on the vowels that are more back, like ah and somewhat O, then we start to lose that beautiful color that you just created by letting the tongue go. So think about that again with your ah vowel. Whatever the melody is.
Oh.
Yeah, with that breath, release
With
the jaw. Try text, yes.
Okay.
Please have the new key, my fault.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Take your time. Try again. Just get that jaw dumb again. Beautiful. Do you feel the tongue release on that one? You have to really think about it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Harold?
No, I think you're right. But as you go then, as you make this setup, right? Okay, we've got the throat open, we've got the tongue in a better, more relaxed. I hesitate to use the word relaxed, but it's in a more released position. You'll notice, okay, the vowels are one thing, but the consonants now they all have association, right? So the way we shape vowels, the way we say a consonant, is going to have a very strong relationship to what the tongue is doing. reset the tongue for the vowel, it's also going to have to reset a little bit for the consonants, right? Because you'll notice when you do that, all of a sudden it'll push into some of those consonants. So we have to, we want to create this tube, right? And we want to teach ourselves really to be able to say the vowels and the consonants all with the same basic condition of the throat on the inside. And that's, obviously, that takes time to work out. And it may have to change some of the vowel identity and some of the consonant identity to your mind actually might change a little bit. You know, as you experiment, hey, what does that feel like when I leave that out of it? You know, it will change the association and the mental thought of what the identity of it is. Yeah.
Any questions from anyone about this? Great. Could we jump to the little coloratura passage in the B-ish section?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this will be a little more difficult because we want to articulate. I call it playing piano with our throat. Feels like right? And instead, I would love for you to address it with this inhalation that we just talked about, and see if you can articulate that coloratura section without using the jaw or the tongue to do so. Which means it might be inaccurate a few times, if not, for the next 2 months as you work on it, and that's okay. I want to give you permission to fail. Don't try to do this perfectly. It's really important. You try that. So do you know where I'm at, Fabio? Do you want to show him when it is?
Actually, could you show me?
Sure.
Because it happens several times, but there's this section over here, but we can start from.
Let's do these. Let's do these.
Do you want me to start from?
Yeah. We can start there. Or wherever it makes sense musically for you. But your job is to not go, right? But it's to feel the jaw hang. And I like that Harold articulated that it's not relaxed. Would you venture to say that singing is relaxed ever? Singing is always very active. There are several different types of tension in our body that we're having to deal with at all times, but it's never relaxed. Released is a much better word for singers to think, because relaxed means unsupported, it means underengaged or unengaged.
There's a certain muscularity that's required to make the sound, right? So we have to be careful when we use the word relax. It's more specific about desirable tension and undesirable tension. Desirable engagement and engagement that we don't need to produce the sound. Some of it is necessary to produce the sound, some of it gets in the way of the release of the sound.
And that's what we're dealing with. We're trying to get rid of the things that get in the way of your beautiful natural sound. Right? You don't have to create or manufacture a sound. It's all about finding the release and the openness of your natural sound and then building it from there. So let's just do it on vowels for now, just so you can address specifically what's my tongue doing, what's my jaw doing. So let's try that easy inhalation.
1 second, I'm sorry.
You can get some water. It's really okay. Singers do need water every now and then. I'll have some too. For the non-singers, is this interesting at all? You can say no. It's okay. Yeah? So it's an ah vowel, right? Okay. Where it gets stuck. Let the tongue release. It's hard to not control it, isn't it?
Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right at all. Yeah, it's so hard. Okay, 1 second.
Just be thinking about the release of the jaw and the tongue. What is it that she's singing, Fabio? Could you just play her melody so she knows where she's at?
Okay.
That's the one I was most interested in because that's when we started to hold the jaw.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? I'm going to try something that's also quite heretical. So take it or leave it. You can talk with Mitch about this. But I want you to pick your head up for me.
Okay.
So what's happening is you're holding your head in this position, and it's depressing on the larynx. And I want you to release the head and open the mouth. And it's going to feel like your head's like this. I promise you. That's it. That's what I'd like you to try. Don't let it tuck down. Try again. Did you feel the head go?
Yeah, I did.
Do you mind if I touch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this part of the neck is wanting to brace just a little bit, and it's all attached to the jaw and the tongue. So release right here at the pivot point of your neck. Good. Open the mouth taller, gentle breath, and try. What did we notice? Curious. What was your? I'm closer to her. Yeah. It was fuller. Did I ask you to sing louder?
No.
Did I ask you to do anything with the sound, actually? No, I'm dealing with things that are very specifically physical. We get in our own way when we sing, all the time. And we try to manufacture sound. I also noticed that the vibrato pattern was different. Did anyone notice that? It was much more even, and it wasn't directed. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Did it feel a little wild?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It almost felt like it was like outside of my body.
Who has heard that before? It's like singing is somewhere out here as opposed to held onto here, right? Do you want to try that again?
Yes, please.
So it's all about release. Don't try to be perfect, okay? Let it be messy and wrong. Feels like you're going like this. I'm singing this way. No, I promise you, you're not. It looks normal.
Wants to go like this, and I'm like, no, stop.
Yeah, so just remember that gesture is to depress on the larynx to feel sound. And now when we do that, we feel sound more in our body as opposed to what you just described out here, right? It's a really fascinating phenomenon. I see you're wanting to do something.
No, yes, I'm going to jump in here.
Do it. That's fine.
Two things I want to do. I'm going to have you do it again, but I'm going to give you a directive in a second. But I think it's important to address for a second what causes tension, that kind of tension when we get up to sing.
It's nerve-wracking.
It's nerve, right? We want to feel secure. We want to feel in control. And we want it to sound good, right? So we try to micromanage all of those things, right? And then you put it like, and we want people to like it, like all of those things, right? And so we put in place this control system where we feel like we're in control of it, right? The problem is it knows way better than we do what to do, right? And so it's important to say that like all of this positioning and this stuff that we kind of use to control our singing is often at its core emotional, right? It's something psychological and emotional that we use to try to control. And sometimes when you first start doing it, you feel really exposed and you feel really vulnerable and like you don't have control. And you're probably experiencing a little bit of that already. Okay, I want you to do the beginning of this section with the ah one more time. And I'm going to tell you what I hear. And I'm going to tell you what I hear when you sing ah. I hear a decrescendo and a crescendo between each note. Right? Did you guys hear that at all? Where it feels like
Okay.
And I want you to sing it without that. I want you to sing it note to note to note to note, all the same volume. Never pull back on it. So it doesn't do this. It's one line. Okay, can you do that with that other setup for me?
Okay. Oh, wait.
Just on the ah. Was it ah? So start with ah.
I had her start on and
Just start with ah like you did last time for a moment.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see?
it's so hard to start in the middle.
Yeah. first part of it again. 'Cause
Yes.
That's where I hear like you're using the throat to articulate the notes,
Okay.
and you don't need to, because what's happening is you're using some extrinsic muscularity to sort of delineate the notes, and all that can happen on the inside of the larynx where you can't feel it,
Okay.
right? Just sing it straight. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's our fault. We're taking you out of context.
This is a really cool song.
Sorry. It's a different one.
Right there, yeah. You went, there's an H that you don't need,
Okay.
right? You see what I mean?
I
Yeah,
did
you heard
feel
it
it.
that time, right?
I did feel
All right,
it.
so we're gonna trust this for a second. I
Okay.
want you to do it one more time. I want you to give me your support here, and I want you to give me a hand with energy in it here, like this, like a claw, okay? And after you start, I want you to do it all with just like as a gentle, like you're pulling taffy
Okay.
the whole time on every phrase. Just try that once for me.
From
Okay?
the Oz or same spot?
Same spot we just started.
Okay.
Yeah. Energy in the hands.
Okay.
Giving you a lot to think about. Did you feel yourself wanting to let go of the tension in between the notes? Because you actually held it very, very well. And I'm curious if you felt the desire to sort of like collapse in between each note or not.
I was just really focused on
Yeah,
doing
you did it great. You did it great. But that's how we create that line. Like it's a unified position that everything gets articulated within this sort of stretchy sound, right? What else should we do?
Whatever.
Yeah.
We can never
Let-
start at the top.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in charge of the process.
Okay.
Okay, so rather than me sitting here doing this, and I want you to think about what we did, and I want you to internalize that process. So you can't go on autopilot,
Okay.
right? You've got to be leading the song,
Okay.
right? You. Okay. Here we go.
Would you like me to do this motion still, or do you want me to just?
No, I want you to
Okay.
do it performatively. You know
So
what I mean?
we may talk while you sing, but just keep going.
Okay.
We're talking to. But I'm curious to see how you put it together.
Okay.
Release.
like I do tend to do like keep my head down a lot.
And head down is not a bad thing. It's when it's habitual in order to create sound. So if there's a tension, like I can't sing this note unless I do this, then you have to address it.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask you, Veronica, what are your hopes and dreams? Like when you grow up and...
My hopes and
I could grow
dreams.
up, yeah.
That's a great question.
Like, what do you want to do with this?
So I do want to go and I want to perform. But I also have a love for teaching and especially teaching underprivileged students. So
Excellent.
I want to perform so I can have the experience, I can have that, and I do love it. And then eventually I think I want to start, maybe if it's not my own opera company, my own studio, whatever it is. I haven't figured that part out yet, but yes.
We haven't either, so you have plenty of time.
Yeah, basically I love opera music, I love singing, I love classical music, and I want to make sure that more people understand it because I feel like it is a little bit of a dying art form in some ways. And I have noticed that people really react well to it once they really understand it, So, yeah.
That's great. So, what I also noticed is that you are a natural storyteller. I can tell that you have the desire to communicate with your audience. For me, that's a difficult thing to teach, something that's much more innate. You also have a beautiful comfort. Like, I feel very comfortable watching you sing and perform, which, as a performer, that's important. That's important that we can stand up there and not make our audience nervous. I think it will really, really benefit you to start addressing these things because there's much more in your voice than you're showing us. What arias do you sing?
I sing O luce di quest'anima, un moto di gioia deviene non tardar.
Okay, so as I'm listening to you speak, deviene non tardar. Listen how low, this is great. Listen how low my voice is. I don't speak there, do I? I speak more up here, so my voice is a bit higher than yours in speech. Yours is lower. So it's interesting you're introducing a coloratura aria, which I'm sure is fine. I'm sure you sing it very well. But there's a depth to your voice and a warmth to your voice that might be interesting for you to explore in the color of your whole instrument.
Absolutely.
And the spoken voice really gives us as teachers a lot of information. And that's why I asked you to speak a little more. So I'm sure your luce is beautiful because your high notes just fly. But make sure the high notes fly with release, not with grip and drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely working on that.
yeah, and so are we. I mean, it is a craft that one never stops working on, even in our seasoned years. Any questions? Because I think we're about at time. Yes. Yeah.
I think I am okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it make sense what we talked about?
Yes.
Anything that makes you go, oh, like I've been in plenty of masterclass where I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do that.
No. I think it was great. It was interesting really seeing how much I tend to pull my head down and I have known the tension thing has been a constant, you know what I mean? And I have noticed that it's better on some days and not on some other days. But I really like the exercises that you guys gave me. Thank
Good.
you.
You're very welcome. One of the things I will say about that, and this goes a little against academia, so I apologize. But when we learn in the academic environment, it's all about being correct. It's all about my diction has to be perfect, my sound has to be clean and clear, has to have a certain, all my rhythms, all my pitches, everything has to be perfect. So we spend all this time manipulating and manicuring sound in order to achieve this academic standard.
Checking the boxes.
When I start very differently with my students and I open them up first. If we get through 2 songs in a jury, that's great in the first couple of years of study. Because it's not about that for me. It's about making sure the voice is functioning open and functioning well. So think about that as you're working on your voice. Am I focused so much on the correct, and I said it's okay if it's a mess as you address this. And then you put that in. Of course we have to use correct diction. Of course we have to do the right notes and pitches. That's a given. But it cannot be at the cost of sacrificing your instrument. That is very important to remember. Okay? Excellent. Great work. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Who's next? Jane. Yes, okay, Jane.
Yes.
Hi, Jane.
Hi.
So I'd love to hear what you're singing, of course, because I'm not paying much attention. But also, think about if there's anything in particular you want us to work on. You don't have to tell us yet. Yeah. So what are you going to sing?
Well, hello, my name is Jane Putra, and I will be singing Vedrai Carino from Don Giovanni by Mozart.
Excellent.
Vedrai carino, se bonino, che per rimedio ti voglio dar. E naturale, non disgusto e lo speziale non lo sa far, no, non lo sa far, no, non lo sa far. E certo balsamo che porto dosso, torrete il basso se vuoi provar. Saper vorresti dove mi sto e dove mi sto. Sentilo battere, toccami qua, sentilo battere, sentilo battere, toccami qua, sentilo battere, sentilo battere, toccami qua, sentilo battere, toccami qua, toccami
Great recovery in there.
went
And
blank.
it's
I'm so sorry.
Well, all the repeats in Mozart sometimes can be like, where am I? Where am I? Right? But you handled it beautifully.
Thank
And
you.
you didn't show it.
Okay,
Right?
good.
So no matter what, this is exactly how it goes. Even if you know, all of us on the panel know the aria, this is my version, and I'm going to make it work. And I'm really proud of you for staying in it.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do you want to work on? What are you
I
curious
actually
about?
want to work more on technique.
Great. I know Harold would love to do that with you.
Okay.
What year are you?
I just graduated from my senior of my college year,
Excellent.
and I'm going into my grad school at UCF. So
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is great. Go ahead. Anton.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the fact that what we're trying to do, right, is we're trying to take this physical, fleshy thing, right, and we're going to make an instrument out of it, okay? So we're basically trying to make a human horn, okay? And so what we're trying to do is maximize resonance, balance of pressure, release of the resonance. We're trying to do all these things, okay? And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to help you find your complete instrument for a second, okay? And one of the first ways we're going to do that is I'm going to try to open things up a little bit more for you, okay? But the first thing we have to do that is, do you feel like you open your mouth when you sing?
No.
Yeah, kinda, right? So that's the first thing we're gonna do, is I'm gonna have you open your mouth a lot, okay? Because once we get this open, it can reveal what's going on in here. But as long as everything is kind of like closed up here a little bit, it's a little bit harder to get in there and kind of open up the throat a little bit more. So we're kind of doing a little bit of both, okay? So when we open our mouths, there's a tendency to do what I call Muppet mouth, right? If you do this, you know the Muppets, right? I'm not dating them. Okay, the Muppets. Like, imagine your hand is in Kermit the Frog's mouth, right? And you do this, and we tend to think that the mouth being open is only in the front, right? I want you to think about the mouth opening with the jaw, right? Like what you just did. So you're going to feel like it's, rather than doing this, everybody pull your jaw back when you open your mouth. Where do you feel that? Right here. Feel all that tension it puts right in your larynx. All right? Now do that and lift your head. Kind of goes away, right? Okay, so that's one thing. We don't, especially if you're in that tuck position and you open the jaw with back, all you're doing is creating a pressure lock right there in your larynx, right? So I'm with the head up a little bit, which allows the jaw to, it feels like it goes like this, out that way. So in other words, if your teeth look like this, I don't want your mouth open where the teeth go back here. I want the teeth like it's the old bite the apple thing. Why does that a thing, right? If you're gonna bite the apple, you gotta get your bottom teeth into the apple, right? And when you do that, you feel your jaw slides this way. Okay, so we're just gonna do that for a second. And you're gonna feel it stretch, yeah, even more. So for me, yeah, to get it out this way a little bit more. And there you go, that's better. So you're gonna feel right here is gonna go this way. Like almost like you're jutting your jaw out. That's what it's gonna feel like to you. Yeah, that's better. Now tilt the head back a little bit to clear this area. Okay? And now let's just take an inhalation that way. I don't want you to sing that. We're just gonna sing vedrai carino, right? But we're just gonna sing that.
Okay.
We're gonna go that, and we're gonna leave the jaw totally open. Okay? Try that. Okay. Is the jaw as open as it was before? It wasn't, right? I want you to almost think like 3 fingers. We're gonna really exaggerate it for a second. Try 3 fingers. Yeah. Go to there. Good, now bring this down and do it again. Okay, talk to me. What are you experiencing with that? In your words.
It's a lot more open.
It's a lot more open
than I usually feel.
than you usually feel, right?
Yeah.
And so it felt a little bit more vulnerable, didn't it? It felt a little bit. So what I saw is the mouth was open, and you started, and you're like, "Whoa!" This is interpreting what I saw. Whoa, what's that? And you took a step back from it.
Yeah.
I want you to do it, and I want you to sing loud.
Okay.
Sing loud, okay?
Should I?
Yeah. Well, just you don't need to put them there, just so you know to remind you like how open it needs to be. Good. Keep going. Good. Already we're getting more release of the resonance, aren't we? Getting more sound. What does it feel like to you?
It feels a lot freer.
A lot freer, right?
Out there.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to put the words in it. Okay? So we're going to try to, once that jaw is open, you're going to feel it move a lot.
Yeah.
When the jaw does a you're not going to say these words, you're going to have to like free up all of those articulators. So it's going to feel like you're going like that. Literally, it's going to feel like you're doing that. Like exaggerate.
Okay.
Yeah, exaggerate. Singing is exaggerated speech. Okay? It starts from a spoken intent, and then we exaggerate the heck out of it, okay? Because it's an exaggerated art form, okay? From the top. With the difference?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was much better. Would we agree? Much better. Did you want to jump? You want to jump in anything? Or?
She needs to open her mouth all the way on all of those A vowels. But this is what's difficult about opening the mouth. Because all of a sudden, but wait, I can't do my closed A vowel when I do that. I can't sing ooh when my mouth is that open. Oh yes, you can. You have to just let the tongue adjust. So instead of I'm positioning everything. It's where the tongue really will arch to say the vowels as opposed to them jutting forward.
Yeah.
So let your mouth open and let your tongue go ahead and say those. We have this fear of the tongue pulling back, and whether you're taught that or not, I don't know. But I know I was taught to press my tongue against the back of my teeth, which prohibited my larynx from staying down. Everyone understand where the larynx is? Right here. And the lower the larynx, the longer the vocal tract, and the more sound, resonance, ease of singing we have. So if the tongue is pushed forward, the larynx comes up with it. If the tongue is released, the larynx likes to sit low, which is what we want.
Right.
Yep.
And the problem is, too, like she's saying, when we get the tongue, we're talking about the tongue, in day-to-day life, we don't talk with the mouth that open, do we? Right? So you're talking about singing an E vowel or an A vowel, the tongue, everybody say, just relax, and everybody just say, me. Just me. Now, notice, what does your tongue do in your mouth when you do that? Me. E. Your tongue is totally bunched and pressing against your upper molars. Me. Right? E. It needs to be in the same place when we open our mouth. The problem is, we don't do that in daily life. So we have to literally teach it how to do that. Because what's going to happen if you say me or a closed A vowel, the tongue is literally touching the molars. A, right? What happens is when we start to open that mouth, what's going to happen? The tongue's going to want to go with the jaw. Me, that's not E. Me, you got to go me. So I had to teach the tongue. To do that because it doesn't want to do that naturally because we don't do that in day-to-day speech. So just try it. Just gently say me.
Me.
I go me.
You can all try it.
Me.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's really hard.
It's hard, isn't it? So you have to teach it to do that. Singing is a craft. It's rooted in sort of a natural activity, right? But it is an absolute craft that you have to learn. You've got to teach it to yourself, right? And so now all of a sudden everybody knows, oh, I have to get the tongue working independently of the jaw so that I can execute and release my sound into a 2,000-seat auditorium. Because if I have this and the tongue and there's not nearly enough resonance to reach the hall. So one more time, everybody. Me, and in your own spoken range, me, and leave the tongue. Yeah, leave the tongue. There you go. E. You see how much tongue there is, and when I do it, I get a mouthful of tongue, don't I? Me. Because the space for singing is not in the mouth. The space for E is behind the tongue, not in the mouth. The sound for E is in front of the tongue. Then you got the tongue, and then you got the space for the E behind the tongue. It's not in the mouth. And the same thing for closed A. A. The tongue is up in the mouth. The sound is here. The space is there. Me, may, do may.
May.
May. A little bit more E See how bunchy her tongue just got? Yeah, now sing ve. Can you start this aria that way?
Okay.
Ve. That's it. That's it. See her tongue go up to the E dot? That's so different. It's so different. What happens when you get that tongue up? Arched tongue always encourages head resonance. It just does. Okay? The second you flatten that tongue, your sound is going to want to go this way. And I think we can all agree that this is bad for classical singing. Right? And the other thing, anytime the tongue wants to flatten, it's actually going to induce lower register. You can hear the difference. This is a very resonant room, right? So if I flatten my tongue and go, it's buzzy in a not good way. It's very lower register heavy. You hear like it has a different ring to it, right? How we doing? We got time still, right?
We got time.
Yeah, good. Okay, let's do it one more time, and I'm going to let you sing a little bit more. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes for a second. We're going to use what's called our mind's eye, right? I want you to think about what we just did. And on the every breath of every phrase, during the breath, is where you're going to put the intention in for that adjustment we just made.
Okay.
It's not on the sound, it's before the sound.
Okay.
Make sense? Okay, go. We have to be able to do this, support, and also speak to our audiences or tell our stories, right? So we're going to work a little bit on storytelling. I mean, if we get a half an hour, let's go ahead and give you everything we have, right? So tell us a little bit about this opera, Zerlina, maybe this moment, however you'd like to explain it.
I would explain it as Zerlina, like seducing Masetto. So
okay,
and she's very, she's giving like kind of this potion, I should say, and apothecary. Apothecary. Yeah. So
are these your words you're using, or does this feel prepared to you? Like how does Jane feel about Zerlina and this moment? What's happened? Why is this aria even being sung?
That's more. I haven't like actually like went in depth with it, but I mean we talked about it.
Okay. So have you watched this opera?
Yes, I've watched it once.
Okay. Have you read the libretto?
Actually.
So I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I really am not. You're not in trouble if you don't know these things. But this is part of preparation, and part of our preparation of being able to tell a story. So prior to this moment, she was basically caught flirting with Don Giovanni, and Masetto's really ticked off. Right? So she's like, oh, but honey, I love you, right? So you're talking about seduction, right? It's a little more complicated.
She's not innocent.
No, Zerlina is not innocent. I think a lot of singers try to play her as innocent, She's a master manipulator.
She went really.
Several times, actually. So, how do we portray this? Because it's uncomfortable.
Yes, yeah, it
It's
is.
very uncomfortable. So, tell me about the text. What is she saying?
Well, she's saying that she has a certain potion, and she's like, touch me here.
So I
touch me here."
don't want basically. Vedrai carino means what?
Vedrai carino means like come to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Carino is, a term of endearment. Vedrai carino, sei buonino. What does that mean?
I guess it's come to me like.
I got
it's,
good
it's
stuff.
Not, it's like yeah.
Buonino, I have some good
Yeah,
stuff. Right? Sei buonino. What does it mean?
Like if you behave well.
Yep. Okay. Next text. Rimedio. There's your apothecary.
I have something to give.
I have the remedy.
I have the remedy.
Keep going.
And naturale, it's natural.
Yes.
Like, it's just natural. I mean, like, I know, like, not everybody does it, but, like, for her, it's natural.
Yes. Is it okay if I step up here on the altar?
Yes, of
Okay.
Methodist church.
Yeah, the Methodist.
That's right.
It's not Catholic, but we always I just want to make sure.
And what's the remedy?
Yeah, what's the remedy?
The remedy is basically, I think, her love.
Is me. I'm your remedy, right? Sit down. Just sit down. Now, put yourself in a posture where you're wearing a skirt and everything is long enough, but I want you to put yourself in a posture where you're talking to Mazzetto. Can I be Mazzetto? I'm standing here and I'm mad. Okay? Right? You're going to be singing to me and convincing me that this is all good. And of course, we're not going to do the tocca mi qua, right? But you're sitting and talking to me and trying to seduce me.
Okay.
Talk to me and convince me that I was not doing anything badly with Don Giovanni. He's just my friend. Okay, hold on a second. Did you see her body posture just change? She's like, hey. So, did you do that when you sang the aria?
No.
So how do we do that? You just did exactly what I'd hoped you'd do. Your
Okay.
intention was so different.
Okay.
When you went to talk to me, to convince me, Mazzetto, that I really didn't mean it. Manipulating, your body posture changed. Try it again. And we sit down. I always feel more comfortable trying things when I sit down because I'm always standing in front of people. I'm like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do? So sometimes it just helps us to let go a second when we sit down. Okay? Will you try that again? Very good. Follow those instincts. Don't be afraid. It's easy to say, isn't it? Okay, I'm mad. Please. Yeah. You got good stuff. Stand up now. Okay, question. What do those mean?
She's kind of like playing, I guess. Like, maybe
Like-
trying.
Think of something instead of kind of. Well, what do they mean to you?
A flirting.
Oh, so in Mozart especially, he gives it all to you. If you just listen, it's all there. Okay? Want to try that again, standing? I just don't want you to trip on this now. Body language is everything. So if I want to be seductive, I'm not going to stand like this, right? So a seductive pose may be, so I was just, right? You can change your body posture. So one way to practice this is in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and see, and make Mazzetto your mirror, right? And sing to him, right? I don't want to put anyone on the spot to be your Mazzetto, so that's me. Want to try again? Oh, can we go to, yes, no, let's try it again, because I want you to do those little flirty moments. Okay? There you go. Watch your hands. that you want to move only when you sing. You ever notice that? It's like, oh, now I'm saying words, so therefore action is happening. What are those action movements, right? Probably those are movement. That's telling you to do something. That's giving you direction. So don't just wait for text to act. Acting happens in all of those silences as well. So, does it feel really weird and uncomfortable? How do you feel?
I don't know. I mean, like at first it's kind of like weird and awkward, but like as you grow inside of the character, it's more like you know like what you're gonna do.
Great. Yeah. Can we go to the sentilo battere?
Being Serena allows you access to do things
I'm gonna say.
that you yourself are not comfortable with. But as Serena, you can indulge those things because it's not you,
Yeah.
right?
You have to try to convince me now. See? Do you see the little discomfort that she just? Oh no. I'm totally comfy. So whatever you need to do to say, you can forgive me.
An idea.
Okay, I like ideas. Make sure it's always led by the meaning of the text and the intention of Zerlina.
Okay.
What does she want? What does she want? That's a good question for you. What does Zerlina want?
Before I do have my idea.
Yes.
Can I touch you?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm totally cool with that.
Ask for permission.
No, you're absolutely right. In this day and age, you always have to ask. 100%. But what does Zerlina want? What does she hope to gain from this moment?
That to make Mazzetto like fall for her, like.
Oh, he's already fallen for her. I mean, this is their wedding day. Yeah, that's already been established. But what does she want from this moment?
Convincing him.
Okay, to what?
To know that her love.
Does she
Like-
love him? Could be convenience, you know. But these are all the questions I want you to answer for yourself.
Okay.
This is what gives actors levels when they're on stage. These are the things that make it interesting for audiences. I'm a huge Callas fan, Maria Callas. If you don't know her, please look her up. One of the greatest singing actresses of all times. Anna Netrebko is another great singing actress. So these are people that are singers that are very specific in what they want. And you can see it, even if you don't know what they're saying, it's very clear. There is something going on and it's interesting, and not just singing for the sake of singing. So be specific. What does she want? She wants Mazzetto to just do whatever she wants. She wants to completely manipulate him and have him forgive her for the moment so that she can keep going and doing what she always does, which is flirt with every other man, right? But in this moment, she gets him to forgive her, right, for a second. And then she goes and screws up again, and then it's Batti Batti. No, Batti Batti's first, Veda Carina's later. Anyway, so try it from that part, please. The sentilo. Thank you.
Sentilo battere, toccami qua, sentilo battere, sentilo battere, toccami qua, sentilo battere, sentilo battere.
Okay, so what does she want him to feel?
Basically.
There's no basically.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sentilo battere means feel my heart beating.
So have I felt it?
I don't think so.
No. So, do you mind if I touch you?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, you know, I don't mind. Because I used to listen.
So, if I'm Mazzetto, you're going to take me and bring my hand here, right? So how do I do that when you don't have an other? So I'm here doing my audition aria. Toccami qua, sentilo bat. Can you feel it? Yeah. Yeah? Because what she's trying to do is seduce him. And by seducing him, using the touch is one of her ways of doing so. Okay? Can you try that without me here? That sentilo battere?
Sentilo battere,
This music means something. What does it mean?
toccami qua, sentilo battere, sentilo battere. Please, please, please. Toccami qua,
you have to have different tactics for every single one of them. So the first one didn't work, whatever it is, a pose you did in front of him. I'm just making it up. And the next one, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to grab his hand. Well, the next one, maybe I'll grab both hands, or maybe I'll make him put his arms around me, or maybe I'll sit on his lap. So every single one, Mozart has all of these repeats in there because it takes more than one time. And we have to convince him. And then that last one works. I won! And then it's the postlude. Then it's the next part where she's convinced him. But we have to see you journey to that point to get him to touch you, to forgive you, to love you, to let you go on manipulating whatever. Does this make sense?
Yes.
How do we do this? We know the story. We're prepared with what it all means and who Zerlina is and what she wants and what's happened. There's so much that goes into just singing these 3 pages of an aria. And it's up to us as singers to know what that is. Right?
Yes.
Make sense? I have to stop, I think. But excellent work,
Yeah,
Jane.
thank you.
Thank you for being so brave.
One thing about Mozart, right? Mozart's music is so, how would you say it? It's so beautiful, right? It's so perfect. Nothing is out of place. Everything is so neat and tidy. But the themes of that he set. When we talk about like, what is basically every rock and roll or pop song about? Yeah. Right?
Can we say it on camera?
Sure. It's about sex, right? I mean, pretty much, right? Mozart is the same. It underlies everything. It is not sterile. Mozart has this visceral undertone. So when we get on stage with it, if that's not under the surface, Mozart's boring. It's pretty, but it's boring, right? When you infuse that beautiful music with something underneath that's got this going on, now we've got something that's interesting that connects with people, right? Mozart is not an intellectual endeavor. It's not. It's a visceral endeavor. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be singing There Stands a Little Man from Hansel and Gretel by Humperdinck. There stands a little man looking like a clown. He wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath a tree, with the little cape made of velvet brown. His hair is all of gold and his cheeks are red. He wears a little block upon his head. Tell me who the man can be, standing there so silently, with the little block upon his head. With the little block upon his head.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Excellent. Great. This is good because this is in English, right? So we're going to do it in English. So I'm going to connect this more to what I said earlier, which is that singing is sustained speech. So I talk a lot with my students about the spoken intent of what we're doing. I remember when I was a young singer, right? I used to talk about my speaking voice and my singing voice like they
Yeah.
were two separate things, right? And we only have one set of vocal folds. So it's the same, okay? So I want to see if we can bring a little bit more idea of a spoken intent to what you're doing that's going to inform where the voice goes, where the resonance goes, where it releases, how it connects to the support and everything. Another reason I like the spoken intent is because if I just ask you to say, like, I want you to do this right now. I want you to introduce yourself, right? But I want you to, like, naturally, kind of like I am right now, I'm naturally just sort of speaking in a full voice, like sending my voice kind of into the room a little bit. Like, hello, my name is Harold, and I'm up here in front of the class, right? Something, just introduce yourself.
Good morning, my name is Bianca Alemán and I will be performing There Stands a Little Man.
Okay, good. Now, I want you to put your hand on your belly and push in just a little bit, and I want you to do exactly what you just did. Speak it again.
And observe what your hands do.
Yeah,
What you feel.
push in a little bit.
Good morning, my name is Bianca Alemán and I will be performing
Okay,
There.
great. Did you feel what your hand was doing? Did you feel how it was like, it was connecting, the voice was like, it was moving out, wasn't it? The body knows how to do this, y'all, already. Okay? So, the second you use spoken intent, guess what you've done? You've just put your voice on your support without even thinking about it. Okay?
Yeah.
So, what is the first phrase of text in this aria?
There stands a little man looking like a clown.
Okay, now I want you to do it and I want you to intone it like you just did. I want you to speak the first phrase.
Okay. Just speak it.
Just speak, just like you just did. Nice and full.
There stands a little man looking like a clown.
Great. Now we're going to do that again. And instead of going, yada, da 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 da, I want yada, da 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 da. So it's like one big long word. Okay?
There stands a little man looking like a clown.
That's exactly what singing feels like. It literally feels like you're going like that.
Okay.
Okay? Start it again. And this is where we're going to try to connect these dots.
Yeah.
Okay? Start it again, and I don't want you to sing it. I want you to feel like your idea is I'm going to speak on the pitch and go.
Okay.
Okay? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We're experimenting. Okay? Here we go.
There stands a little man looking like a
Okay, good. We're going to
clown.
start again. The first word is what?
There's.
There. So that we have a TH, right? Do you see how much voice I can give that? Yeah, you feel it vibrate? You can feel it vibrate right here. Now I want you to feel it vibrate with your throat open. But lower. I want you to feel a lower pitch. Right, so you can feel like the throat is open and the TH is in front of it. There you go, that's better. There is.
There is.
There you go. Try it again.
There stands a little man looking like.
Okay, that was different, wasn't it? Do you think like it connected in a different way? It sounded less singy, but more sung. Yeah? So that I like to make that distinction between something that sounds singy and something that sounds. When we make a singing gesture, it sounds singy. It can be pretty, but it will never have that same connection to this that the spoken sound does.
Yeah.
Okay? So every phrase, vibrate that voice right on the vocal fold. There is. There is.
There stands.
Yeah. And how would you say it's there is what?
There stands a little.
There stands. There stands. So instead of there stands, which is sing-songy, I want you to say there stands, and
There stands.
that's it. That's better. Even more. There stands.
There stands.
Like almost quasi-yelling. One more time. There stands.
There stands.
Start it like that.
Well, it starts on a C. There.
There.
Yeah.
There you go.
There stands.
There stands.
That's right. There stands. You stay right in that color. See, I didn't change my sound to do the pitch.
Yeah.
Do we speak with pitches? Yes. Do we speak with pitches? Yes, we do all day long. So our voices are already pitched all day. So
speak in different dynamics? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We can be loud, or we can be soft, right? It's the same voice.
Yeah.
So we can not only, and can we talk in different colors? Oh, yes, we can. So we can do all kinds of things on the spoken intent.
Yeah.
It's not just loud, right? And if I yell, I'm yelling in my head voice. So the head is not mutually exclusive to lower register either.
Yes.
Okay? So like what she just did with the, dig into that a little bit.
There.
Dig into
There.
it. There you
There.
go.
And like we had talked about with Veronica and also I think with Jane, pick up your head and open your mouth a bit. Try. Yeah, but everything is sort of blanket statements when we're working on the singing stuff. Think about that for yourself, not just for the person standing up here. How does that translate to me? How could I use this? So pick your head up like I'm showing you right now and go, there stands.
There stands.
Good. Now you're going to start it. Please, Fabio.
There stands a
What
little.
did you just do? What did you do?
I moved.
No! You went, there stands. There stands a little. See the difference? Instead of, there stands. There stands. Try that. Pick up your head, talk.
There stands a
Can
little.
you do this? There stands.
There
No,
stands.
look at me. Look at me. There.
There
Stands. There stands a little.
There stands a little.
Aha. The vibrato starts to release and we get more of your sound. Okay? So make sure your mouth is open.
There stands a little man looking like a clown.
Nice.
He wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree. With a little cape made of velvet
Good, let's do that phrase one more time. So if I'm, that was much better. If I'm talking and my voice goes higher and louder, what does that turn into? I was doing it a second ago. It turns into yelling, doesn't it? Right? So, this is a skillful yell. And the higher we go, the yellier it's going to get. Okay? So, as you go up there, don't back off. Stay gently on the gas pedal.
Okay.
Right? You drive a car, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens? As we're going faster? Do we pull up, or like when you're driving on the highway
Yeah.
and you want to keep the speed? You have to keep gentle pressure on it. Okay. So what you do a little bit as you go up is you actually take your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And you need to just stay gently on the gas as you go higher.
Okay.
Right? You're already connected to that spoken sound. If you stay on the gas, it will go. It's going to go where you need to go,
Yeah.
but it's not going to do it by bringing the bottom up. It's going to stay connected, kind of
Yeah.
like we were talking a second ago.
Okay.
Okay, can we back up just a little bit and get into that? Yeah.
There stands a little man looking like a
Talk.
He wears a little
Yes.
cape made
That's
of
it.
velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree.
Talk and dig into it. Talk and dig.
With a little cape made of velvet brown.
Good.
His hair is all of gold and his cheeks are red. He wears a little black cap upon his head.
Good.
Tell me who the man can be, standing there so silently.
Talk and go.
With a little black cap upon his head.
Okay, talk. So talk to me about what you're experiencing there a little bit. What do you feel?
What I feel?
Yeah, what do you feel? How does that feel like as you're starting to connect to it a little bit more?
It sounds more smooth. It feels more smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more unified, isn't
Yes.
it? Una voce, one voice. That's what we're looking for, right?
Yes.
So the other thing I want to say is, as you do this, when it's singing, like talk a little bit about legato for a second. I like using like the terms like firm legato as opposed to loose legato. Legato does not mean smooth, right? What does legato mean? Tied. Tied together. Does not mean smooth like peanut butter, right? It literally means tied together.
Yeah.
Okay? That means one note is tied to the next note, is tied to the next note, is tied. That creates something that is smooth because it's unified.
Yeah.
What are the things that, if we've got their stands, you got what is the thing that's going to tie those two sounds together?
The same vowel.
Vowel, vowel.
Uh-huh.
What's the thing that's going to tie vowel to vowel? What's in between them? Consonants. Right? So if you soften the consonants when you sing, you're not creating loose legato. That's not legato.
Okay.
It's mush mouth, right? Now you're not doing that per se. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're going to start digging in and speaking and using that voice, every consonant has to vibrate in the same space as the vowel. There stands a lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's why I keep saying, it literally feels like you're going like that. It's that exaggerated when you sing, right? There stands a. So, one more time. Vibrate every consonant between every vowel like you're talking it. Okay, one more time. Head up.
There stands a little man looking like a
Good, we're going to get super practical. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, okay? There stands a. I need like 5 L's there. And so there stands a little. There stands a little. There stands a little. Like literally 5 L's. And I go, oh. I can vibrate a vowel with a huge open throat. Ooh. Everybody think on the inside. Put that tip of the tongue in the middle of the mouth. Ooh. That's L. La 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 la. Throat's wide open. Yeah. La la. Yeah. Yeah, so do this for me. Open your mouth. Now without closing your mouth. There you go. La 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 la. Try to just do that for me. Again, jaw, tongue separation, yes? Just like we did on the E in the A. It's exactly the same. There you go. There stands a little. Let me hear like 5 L's then. I feel like you're totally overpronouncing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Try it again. Good.
There stands a little man looking like a clown. He wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree.
Yeah.
With a little cape made of velvet brown.
Okay. Does it sound like she's overpronouncing it? No. Does it feel like you're overpronouncing it? It does a little bit, doesn't it? It doesn't sound exaggerated at all. In fact, you can go farther with it, right? There's that. I've been saying it for years, and I never knew where I got it. But apparently, it's trickled down from the Masterclass. Yes. Because in the play Masterclass, where it's Maria Callas talking, she talks about the vowels in the consonants. And I'd said it slightly differently, but the idea is that the vowels are the emotion of they contain the emotional quality of what we're doing. But without the consonants, it has no meaning.
Yeah.
Right? So we need them both. We need them both active, both vibrating. Like it's one big long. Every phrase is one big long word, and you start by really feeling it start on the vocal cords, on the spoken sound. There. Good. I'm going to step back, and here's what I want to see. I was spoken intent, one big long word, and vibrate the heck out of the consonants, like overpronounce everything. Can you do those 3 things? That's not too many. Okay. From the top.
There stands a little man looking like a clown. wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree. With a little cape made of velvet brown. His hair is all of gold and his cheeks are red. He wears a little black cap upon his head. Tell me who the man can be, standing there so silently. With a little black cap upon his head. With the little blood upon his head.
All right, that's great. Much better. And you know how much more color her voice has taken on, and it doesn't sound like she's singing at us anymore. It sounds like she's trying to communicate something. That is our job. That is our job. And I would say one thing. I'll let Sandy has something to say. I'll let her jump in a second. But one of the things that I notice a lot with younger classical singers, in other words, singers that are just embarking on their journey of learning how to do this thing. So, college age and younger, right? Is they tend to be under-engaged in the process of making sound. And I think part of that is in this, and I'll say academic, and I don't, like I said, I don't mean to beat on academia, but there's part of it rooted in that. And there's this idea of don't sing too big too soon, be careful, take it easy, don't push on your voice, don't put, and so what ends up happening is we're teaching these young classical singers to sing, but we scare them first. And it's don't want to get easy, don't want to push on it, not too much too soon, right? And so what ends up happening is they're all under-engaged. Yeah, of course you're not going to break it if you're not using it. We have to use our brain. If we want to say something profound, it should cost you something. Right? Singing, I say it all the time, singing is blue-collar work. Right? That creates a white-collar product in some ways, right? Especially when we're talking about opera, right? But singing is blue-collar. It's sweaty, it's dirty, it's long hours, it's physical, it's visceral, it's blue-collar. It's a craft. It's more like being a blacksmith than a painter. It just is, right? It is. So don't be afraid to dig in and use our voice, because every time you did that, we got more and more and more yummy, warm, round, earthy, connected sounds. The songs started to come alive. Yeah? You want to jump in?
Sure. First of all, you have an addicting smile.
Yes.
I am just I'm so happy. That smile is primo. So always show that whenever you sing for people. Make sure we see that joy, because you look like you have pure joy. Whether you do or not, I don't know, but you make me feel joy. So thank you. Can we do something fun? You're storytelling, you really want to tell this story.
Yeah.
I can tell. So could I have the non-majors come up here? I'd love to engage you. Come here. Do you feel comfortable sitting on the floor?
Yeah,
in your dress?
that's
It's
exactly
long
how I
enough?
play
Yeah.
this.
Great. Right? And this is the best way. If you guys can come around in a U, around Bianca, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Come around in a U in front of her. So you're going to face her like this. Come with me in this U. Come on over here with me. And she's going to tell us a story. I need more over here. And I want you to tell everybody about this guy, okay? That you're talking about. Tell this story to all of us and engage all of us and make us listen. So you guys give her different things, okay? So you're bored. Be careful of the microphone, of course. You're bored. You don't care about this story, and you have to make sure you get their attention. If that means you have to move a little bit, just show me some different tactics, okay? Okay. We're ready, Fabio.
There stands a little man looking like a clown. He wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree, with the little black above his head.
Okay, so hold on a second, please. Thank you. So, what did you notice? We're not paying attention to you. Did you?
Sorry, I was so focused on this.
Like we're not involved. How'd she do? Was she getting you involved?
I was trying to pull something out of you.
Yeah.
I was like angry, and she was like especially giving me the attention.
Yes. Okay. We're over here, so don't forget all of us. So, how many people are in your audience?
Like 7? Well, no.
No, think
More.
about a theater, right? So you have to engage all of us, and I'm just giving you an exercise to make sure that you're telling the story clearly.
Okay.
What do you want us to know about? And of course, Gretel's just in her sort of la imaginary land right now.
Yeah.
She's lost in the woods, so she's trying to entertain herself because she's been scared, and Hansel's off gathering food or something, right? So you're just entertaining yourself, but you have to still entertain us or tell us your story. You want to try that again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Do you want?
just a reminder, just talk.
Yeah, talk.
Really talk.
Don't sing. Talk.
Okay.
Thank you, Fabio.
There stands a little man looking like a clown. He wears a little cape made of velvet brown. Tell me who the man can be, standing there beneath the tree, with the little cape made of velvet brown.
She's not so sure. Yeah, she doesn't want to know about this guy in the black cape. Good for you.
His hair is all of gold and his cheeks are red. He wears a little bag above his head. Tell me who the man can be, standing there so silently, with the little bag above his head.
He must be good. Yeah, I think so. Yes, look at that smile.
With the little bag above his head.
And here comes.
Hurrah!
Here he comes, and interrupts the whole moment. So, how did that feel to you? What did you have to do? Did you have to work harder?
No.
No? You don't feel like you had to use
Oh,
more
yes,
energy?
yes.
Yes? It goes with what Harold was talking about. It's not relaxed, what we do. What we do, it takes so much energy.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you're done singing, you should be exhausted, not vocally, but physically exhausted.
Yeah.
How did it feel for the 6 of you?
It was really like it made your performance more lively. Like it felt more natural and more entertaining to watch because it felt like you weren't playing a character. You were just talking to us. Like,
Yeah.
Definitely more involving.
Connecting.
Thank you for being my little guinea pigs. It really helps if we have others to work with for when we have to tell stories. So I appreciate your help. Well done, my lady. Thank you.
We'll take a 10-minute break. Hello, my name is Benjamin Helbling, and today I'll be singing Non siate ritrosi from Così fan tutte.
Non siate ritrosi, che difensosi, due lampi amorosi, vibrate un po' qua. Felici rendeteci, amate con noi e noi felicissime faremo anche voi. Guardate, toccate, il tutto osservate, a caso abbiamo bel piede, bell'occhio, bel naso, guardate, bel piede, osservate, bell'occhio, qua toccate, bel naso, il tutto osservate. E questi mustacchi chiamare si possono trionfi degli uomini, pennacchi d'amor, trionfi degli uomini, pennacchi d'amor, trionfi, pennacchi, mustacchi.
So we're going to dive into some technical stuff here. It's kind of as a group too, but obviously you're going to be my guinea pig for this too. Okay, great, well done, well done. You're doing some things really great, and we're gonna take that and we're gonna take it to the next level. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about that spoken intent and what that means. And one thing that's really much more difficult in some ways for men to realize than women is, what does head resonance feel like? It comes much more naturally for the higher voices. The lower the voice, the more foreign it tends to feel, right? And if you think about it, I'm not going to get into a huge, thesis about registration per se, but those coordination points that we have, they pretty much line up across the whole vocal spectrum from bass to soprano. And those coordination points are actually kind of the same. So what that ends up meaning is that as a male voice, we spend about 2/3 of our time in a more lower register feeling, and 1/3 of it in the head voice, and exactly the opposite for ladies. They're singing much higher. They're connecting to about 1/3 of the lower register and bouncing 2/3 the other direction. So us experiencing what that head resonance feels like, especially for baritone, is always a little odd. Okay, so I want to see if we can play with that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about breath. Okay, so let's start with talking about the initial idea of speech. Okay, and you guys can all do this. We touched on this a little bit earlier. Okay, so if you just kind of open your mouth and relax, and just do this, we'll just go. You feel what that is? Everybody do it. Feel what that is? Those are your vocal cords. That's where they are. They're that deep. Okay? Now, when you stand, like if we stand up here and I start singing, right? And you hear the sound coming out into the room, right? We get the idea that somehow I'm projecting my voice, okay? We're gonna turn that on its head for a second. What you hear in the room is a byproduct of what I'm doing on the inside. And I know when I was a young singer, I had the wrong idea. The impression of the sound I was receiving is made differently than I thought it was. Because I got this idea that everything is this direction, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to create an instrument where the space on the inside, the sound bounces around. It's merely releasing out of the mouth. We're not doing that. It's the byproduct. Okay, so what I want to do for a second is do that again. Just go. And now I want you to just take a breath and hold your breath, and I want you to isolate it to that spot. So the mouth is open, the throat, you're not closing up everything. Ah, and then I want you to say ah from the closure. In other words, I don't want you to let the vocal cords open and then come back together. So it's not ah, it's ah. Right, okay? And I want you to, when you do that, I want you to send the effort down. Not the sound, the effort. So you're going to speak down. Yeah, even more. So it's totally inverted. You're not blowing any air through the So I want you to go. E, O, U. Now, what do you hear different in the sound when he makes it that way as opposed to the other one? Any thoughts? It sounds different, doesn't it? Yeah? It's rounder. Yeah? It has kind of a deeper quality to it. And what's interesting about it is when you do that, it naturally has more head resonance in it. So one of the things that's really difficult for men is, like I said, this idea of the head voice. So let me ask kind of a question in general. Let's assume in singing for a second that round or dark color of sound and bright sounds are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, okay? And let's assume for a second, because I believe it to be true, that our registration, head voice, chest voice, like those things, there's inherent quality of those sounds, okay? So if we assume that, let me ask the question. Do you associate brightness with head voice or chest voice? What do you think? Brightness.
Head voice.
Head voice? Anybody else? Head voice? Okay. What do you associate round? You would, so it's not be chest voice, right? Okay. And here's the tricky thing. I submit to you, it's exactly the opposite. Okay? So if I go, that's a very buzzy, chesty sound. It's very bright. Do that. Now go, ooh. Head voice is round, right? So our vowels have inherent registrational qualities in them, like ooh, very heady sound, right? Right. So what happens when you start on your sound, which is great, and you're really on your voice, which is great. We don't have to do that. That's done, right? So you're on your voice. That's great. But if we keep it in that place, as you go up, it's going to make it harder because it blocks out that ability to find that head resonance. Okay? When we start that spoken sound and go down, there's a round, there's a head quality, there's a You hear the difference in the resonance, right? So I want you to just go, Good. And now tuck the chin up a little bit, right? Tuck that. Now, can you feel how that also connects to the support better? Just like we were talking about that spoken sound. I'm talking down. See your hands going this way? It's this way. Much better. So much rounder sound, right? So I told you we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to get back to singing here in a second, but I'm going to establish some principles that we're going to work on. Okay? And we talked a little bit about head voice. Now let's talk about breath for a second. How do we manage breath in a practical sense when we're singing? Because I know when I was a young singer, I somehow had this idea that, like, the support and the air is like the motor for the voice. And you hear this people say all the time, on the breath. He's got to sing it on the breath. What does that mean? What are we using our support for? Okay? Are we blowing air? Or are we holding air back?
Holding it back.
We're holding the air back. The air wants to go out. So our whole purpose of talking about the diaphragm, which we can't feel, right? And in trying to keep the support low, that whole endeavor is designed to do one thing. Hold the air back, right? So the second we start blowing air, or the second we start doing anything that's going to collapse in, the air's going to blow. And then that's going to put all the pressure right here, right? Okay, so we're going to get back to singing in a second, but I kind of want to do a little pedagogy stuff here. So imagine you have a balloon. You blow that balloon up full of air, okay? There's inherent energy in the balloon, right? If you let go of the balloon, what happens? The air goes out, okay? There's inherent energy. When people die, they exhale. They don't inhale, correct? So the idea is when you take a full breath, there's inherent energy in that, just like the balloon, okay? So if we let it go, there's nothing to slow it down, okay? The problem comes in, like, okay, if you're gonna take a balloon and you're gonna make the air go more slowly, what's the way you do that? What happens if you take the top of the balloon, right, and you add tension to the top of the balloon, right, and then it goes out slowly, right? The problem is you're doing that through tension. So if we aren't supporting, or if we're collapsing and blowing air, it forces us to have to take the top of the balloon and put tension in it right here to slow the air down, right? Obviously that's not going to work, is it? Okay? So the whole point of this mechanism is it's like you've got glue on your hands. You've got to stick them on your hands, and they're on the balloon. And you're providing pressure in the opposite direction, right? To slow the collapse of the balloon, right? So you're providing pressure kind of in the opposite direction and controlling that exhalation this way. It's just like when you set a suitcase down, right? You don't just drop it. You have to provide resistance in the opposite direction, right? It's balance. It's the same, okay? So we've checked all of our technical boxes now. So let's go back, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to speak this aria. We're going to start with that spoken intent, but we're going to do it in a different direction. Rather than feeling it up that way, I want you to feel like you start that spoken sound where those vocal cords are, and I want you to send the effort down. Send the effort. So we're going to invert it. So we're not going that way, we're going that way. All right, let's try to get from the top, please, maestro. Going up, all of a sudden we kind of blew more air, didn't we? And then all of a sudden you felt this go, right? Then we go, more head voice, right? It had less of that bright buzzy sound and more of the warm round one, right? We did that. Why? We kept on the spoken sound and we kept inverting the effort to the support rather than connected down into the hips, down into the hips. Okay, one more time from the top.
Non siate ritrosi, occhietti vezzosi, due lampi amorosi, vibrate un poco.
Yeah, good, keep going. Talk it down.
Felice.
Oh, that was hard because it starts a little bit higher. What is that about a C?
It's a D.
D? Yeah. Cool. What's the word?
Fe.
Fe. So say for me, ooh, starts with a unvoiced consonant. That's going to be tricky, right? Because what do? Immediately starts with air. Invert the F. Now do this. Go. Do this. Here we go. Now go. Where it feels like it connects down this way. Like instead of blowing air, you're holding the air back. Fe. Fe.
Fe.
Starting just like that.
Felici rendeteci.
Much more head voice.
Amate con noi e noi felici.
Da-da-da-da-da.
What is the word again? Okay.
Yeah.
E noi felicissime faemon che voi guardate, toccate il tutto servate.
Okay, good. So we had a little crack there. That's awesome. That means we're mixing it up and we're changing things.
Yes.
So what that looked like, it's like it started to go one way and you redirected the other. That was excellent. Excellent. Thoughts about what we're hearing so far? Yeah. It's fuller, right? It's a fuller sound. It has more color to it, right? And that's one of the things that does it feel rounder to you? Does it feel darker?
I don't know.
You know, that's okay. That's all right.
I mean,
When you're up in front having this experience right now, this is a very out of body experience,
Yes.
right? They're going to remember the class way more than you will, right? But all we're trying to do is do some discovery, right? So head voice is really important. Yeah. For yeah, absolutely. Belters. Think about belters. Broadway belters. It's a very bright sound, actually. It's bright. Okay, so let's talk about acoustic because that's what we do, right? We are. I was saying something like, what makes us unique is that we are almost exclusively acoustic, right? Opera singers sound terrible through microphones. The ones that sound good through microphones don't sound good in the hall. Okay? So, may I borrow the piano just for a second? I want to show you something. Okay, so I'm going to use the pedal here. Okay? I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, but if I sing in the piano will sympathetically vibrate the strings from whatever the resonance I've created. Right? So I'm going to make two sounds. I'm going to make one that's very kind of bright without a lot of head voice in it. And then I make one with head voice, okay? Can you hear that? It sounds like my voice, doesn't it? Now watch, I'll do it again. Now listen to this. More strings vibrating. The color got repeated back to me. Why? Because now I'm creating more overtones. I'm creating more resonance. All those overtones translate into beauty and projection and volume. Right? And you can hear it. The proof is right there. It starts sympathetically vibrating. Right? Okay. So that's all this is just kind of information to put into the computer to process. So what it's going to feel like when you're doing this right now is it's literally going to feel like every syllable is kind of re-spoken in a way, like you're constantly revisiting that place and reinvesting in the idea to keep it moving. Because the second we kind of let that go, what's going to happen? The habit's going to come back, and it's going to want to start to project that way. Right? Let's try it again. That was excellent from the top. And so I'm going to sit here. I'm going to give you some gestures, and I'm going to sit here and yell at you and do all kinds of things. Okay? From the top. Excellent. Thank you.
Non siate ritrosi, o che difezzosi, due lampi amorosi, vibrate un poco.
Okay, stop. We're going to pick it up right there. I'm going to give you a gesture. I'm going to do the same one here. Give me this hand right here, the claw, all right? And we're going to put this right here. Why? That's where we got to anchor that sound behind the upper molars, right? Right? And then the other one's going where? Here. Right down to by the hips, right? So the sound is pocketed here, and we're releasing the throat to the support there. Can you hear that? That's what we want. Vezzoso!
Vezzoso!
So there's no pressure there. It's totally a clean sound. If I go, Vezzoso! can hear it right away. It goes, right? Vezzoso. I
Vezzoso.
think that's the word. Is it vezzoso? Is that the word? Yeah, vezzoso. Okay, right. See what I'm saying? See the color that makes? Okay, let's start. Can we start right where we stopped? And keep going, and you're going to do this. And look, it's not this. It's... Good, keep going.
Amate con noi e noi felicissime faremo anche voi. Guardate, toccate, il tutto osservate.
Good, keep going.
Siamo forti e ben fatti, e come un verde sia armerto, sia caso, abbiamo bel piede, bell'occhio,
Good.
bel naso.
Good, let's
Guardate.
yeah, it's very good. Feels totally strange, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it sound strange to you?
I mean, I can hear it ringing more.
You can hear it ringing more in the
because
hall, right?
This place is very echoey, so you can.
Yeah, you get lots of feedback,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
this is kind of good. You get that feedback right away. Did you feel like did you get lightheaded at all?
Not this time.
Okay,
but
good.
I've experienced that before.
Yeah. So. Da 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 da. So the tendency is going to be okay. Hey, we got it real good on the way up, but on the way down, careful not to let it.
Right.
Let's just stay connected so that we get that unified position through the whole thing. So support, by our definition, is going to be the resistance
Yes.
of collapse,
Yes.
right? So it's always going to feel like it's holding the air back, holding the walls back, so that you can literally hold the air back and then just let it speak back, And by doing so, we get more and more resonance. So, you guys have heard the word squillo. Ever heard this word? Squillo.
That's the overtones, right? Like kind of.
Yeah.
Overtones,
That
undertones.
if a voice is squillante, right? It means that it has projection, right? So the thing about it is, and I know, I'll talk from my own experience. As a young singer, everybody say, oh, that voice has a lot of squillo in it. And the impression, especially for English speakers, is it sounds too much like the word squeal. It has nothing to do with that, right? Squillo, squillante means to ring like a bell, right? To ring like a bell. That's very different. So it's not this. This is not squillante. Squillante is that sound that it emanates, right? It's not directional. It emanates like this, right? And that's now what you're hearing in the room is the sound is emanating rather than trying to point. You've got tons of that in your sound. If you just speak, your voice is going to have that on the roof of the mouth. That's great, no problem. So we don't have to worry about placement, right? That work is kind of done, right? Now we're talking about opening it up and connecting that resonance throughout the range. So it always has a touch of that headspace in it, all the way top to bottom. Do you want to jump in? Do you have anything you want to do? I want to.
What time is it?
12:21.
I would love to.
Okay, can I do
Yes,
one
of
more
course.
thing? Do you still have the iPad thing that I drew? I'm gonna show this. I drew this for her a second ago. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'll start this up. Look, what's that? Oh, you. There we go. All right. This is kind of a traditional view. If you think about it, we talk about head voice, we talk about chest voice, and then you get this weird area in the middle, this passaggio, or the break, right? That somehow we have to figure out how to tap dance around that area, right? To get to the good stuff. All right. I submit to you that as long as we have this model in our mind, it will continue to operate this way. This is disjunct. I like this. Chest voice, head voice. I use chest resonance and head resonance because that's really what we're describing. They're not two different things. So we're on that spoken sound, that modal voice. Hey, guess what? That's connected to your chest voice. That's your spoken sound. But it's never void of the head resonance, the head space, right? And as we go up in pitch, obviously the head resonance becomes more dominant, doesn't it? But even at the top of our range, guess what? We never leave that spoken connection. The resonance moves, the function does not, right? The function stays right there. And then suddenly it starts to unify. And the reason the middle voice is so funky sometimes, the passaggio, is that's the part of the voice where they're the most in balance with one another. So if you've got some tension, right, or you're not on your spoken sound, that teeter-totter gets tilted and creates a condition that makes the voice disjunct. It creates a break, or a crack, or a... So the idea is we want that uniform position. Speak, speak, speak. Let the space be constant. Let the resonance resonate where it needs to, depending on what the pitch is. Always releasing to the support. Make sense? Okay, I know I'm getting very technical, but I wanted to give you this image in your mind so that it's like, oh yeah, that's always there. Even when you're low, you have that stretch behind the upper molars. Okay, I'll let you.
Benjamin, you have a very lovely instrument, and you are obviously a very eager young man. I can tell that you really want to do this, and you have a strong desire to do everything right. And congratulations for that. That's not something we can teach. Either you have that or you don't. So never lose that desire to learn and get better at this craft, because it is truly lifelong. It's never over. Okay? So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I watched you work very hard for Harold. Be careful. And I'm not saying this because you're in trouble, but your desire to do it makes you also add tension. Is this new information to you?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, you're like, he has
Yeah.
having you make those, but it's not, It's never with tension, not force, right? So I would love to, I put my hands on your head a little bit, and I would love to just start from the top, and I'm gonna let you sing, okay? And as my hands are on your neck and head, I want you to be aware when you feel those tensions pop in.
Okay.
I will say again, you sing, but like all the things are there. You're just a 19-year-old young man, right? And it's going to be a little bit. Yeah, you have some time. I don't know if maybe I should stand on a chair. My dress might get too short.
If he backs up, you can stand on this
Oh,
side.
here. You stand there, I'll stand here. There we go. Ha! Good idea. Okay, so can we just start from the top, please, Fabio? We're going to mess a little bit with neck and face, okay? You tell me if I'm ever uncomfortable.
Ansia deritosio, che diversosi, due lampiam rossi, vibrate un poco.
Just be aware of the tension when you're singing. That was
Felici rendeteci, amate con noi, e noi felicissime faremo anche voi. Guardate.
Stop a second, just give you a rest. But it's hard to identify all those things without somebody putting their hands on you. This has happened to me so many times. Where like you move your head, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. I don't have any tension. I'm fine, right? But when you're practicing in the mirror, we're going to continue so that you can keep identifying with me.
Okay.
But also remember, you're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
Like we're just learning.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't try to do it right. Is my point.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Can I point out one thing? So you know in those two last ascending lines, it got really uncomfortable, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And but in this, when you're starting to like take that away, could you feel like all the upward grab happening?
Because
Right?
I felt like I was running out of breath.
Yeah, right. Because anytime we go this direction, it was rooted in the old gesture, which has a little too much air blowing, right? So next time you do that phrase, if you invert it, like we were talking about, you will find it easier to release that tension, and you won't feel that grab up. So what she just did really kind of exposed what's happening on the inside.
Okay.
Now it gives you an opportunity to go back and go, oh, hey, let me see if I can redirect that and remove even more of that tension.
Okay.
Makes
Makes
sense?
sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was doing,
Right.
just to help you see what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Now you're feeling it because we can mask them in tension.
Right.
We can mask them very easily and get the notes out, get all the right notes and all the rhythms and everything. If we just hold it in place, then it won't be wrong. When we talk about singing in terms of right and wrong, I don't believe that at all. I think there's something that works best for each individual. And that's all we're trying to do is help you find what's best for you and helps you to be the best you, the best singer, the most open, vulnerable, expressive singer you can be. And if we're locked up, it's really hard to do so. And I'm sorry, but Giacomo has to do cartwheels practically. It is a very, very, very active role. So tension cannot be present when he's singing.
Okay.
Yeah, it just cannot.
Maybe we should do that again.
What's that?
You can just run do that again real quick?
We're going to continue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right from wherever we are. Where are we? Yeah. Thank you.
Guardate, toccate, il turto servate. Siam tue cari moti, siam forti e ben fatti, e come un verde siar merto, sia caso abbiamo bel piede, bell'occhio, bel naso, guardate, toccate, osservate, guardate, toccate, guardate, il tutto servate. Siam due cari moti, siam forti se possono, trionfi degli uomini, e nati d'amor, trionfi degli uomini, e nati d'amor, trionfi degli mustacchi.
I felt that muscle. He's got the couple of twitches that are happening. One just really grabbed there. This is not unusual for young singers.
Yeah.
As we're trying to get on our voice and sing big, we start doing stuff like this. Well, it's sort of like this rub the tummy, pat the head thing, and you're really becoming aware of it. Once again, it's not bad. It's just observing.
Yeah.
Okay, I can work on that. And watch yourself in the mirror, all those kinds of things. May I just take a few more minutes with Ben? So, and this goes for all of us, think about this. How do we breathe day to day, second by second? You just close your eyes, and this is for all of us. Just close your eyes and just observe when you breathe what moves. Don't do anything, just observe. Yawning is definitely something that happens when we do this. And of course, I'm going to ask you, Ben, what do you feel?
Like my ribs,
Interesting. Okay, so why does that happen? What's inside the ribs?
the lungs.
The lungs. It's a silly question. I can't tell you how many times I've asked a singer, where do you breathe from? They'll go like here. Huh. So your lungs are here. What are we taught, and sorry if this is heretical again, but what are we taught to do when we breathe for singing? Breathe down.
But we gotta breathe out.
Yeah. So how are you breathing when you sing this aria?
I'm not sure. I'm not fully conscious of it, I
Yeah,
guess. It's
right.
just kind of
I've watched you do both. I watched you do both. Force out the belly, going like this. Everyone make that happen. Just make your belly go out to breathe. No, I don't really get air in the lungs when I do that. Now just take a normal breath and see if your belly and ribs move. Oh, that was beautiful. It was easy to do, right? Now can we just do a phrase that's connected? Maybe the for dum 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 dum. And I want you to very consciously, and if he stops or something, Fabio, I'll just have you catch us, but take a good breath about a beat or two prior, and then begin the sound off of that breath. Also with the mouth open, right? Okay.
Non siate ritrosi, che difensosi.
Good to know this. Anything different?
It felt like, I think I had more air.
Yes, yeah, it also made me think you didn't need that little catch breath you put in there. I call those fear breaths,
Okay.
where we take these extra little because we're so afraid we're not going to make it. You're going to make it.
Okay.
Try it again.
Okay.
And if you run out of breath, so what?
Okay.
Learn from it, right?
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong again here.
Okay.
So I also believe singing is 99.9% psychological. Everything we do is very psychological. So those little fear breaths are something going, I'm not going to make it to the end of the phrase and I'm going to look bad. You know, instead going, I got this.
Okay.
So take that breath again, same spot. Nice.
Non siate ritrosi, che difensosi, due lampi amorosi vibrate.
But we're in practice,
Yeah.
right? Because the breath you took in between the two phrases wasn't as released
Right.
because it's not practice.
Uh-huh.
But that beautiful breath you took in the beginning, you had plenty of air in the lungs, which then it's interesting. Then we start doing the resistance, or that feeling of that resistance of air. He talked about the sticky hands and the balloon. That's what support feels like. Ba 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 ba, right? Instead of from supporting. Yeah, make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions? It's a lot.
I know we hear like do we want to keep our ribs up still? We don't want the ribs to collapse.
So the phrase I like to use, resist the desire to collapse.
Okay.
That's an important phrase. Resist the desire to collapse. And the desire comes from wanting to succeed, wanting to make sure we can get to the end of the phrase, wanting to sound good. And we do that by all means necessary. Sometimes it's the pull in of the belly, when really the belly needs to stay firm and not pulled in, and letting those ribs go. So have you talked about the intercostal muscles, the muscles in between the ribs?
Yeah.
We can expand the rib cage by engaging those, right? So keeping those engaged through the end of the phrase, yes, is very helpful to resist collapse.
Okay.
But it depends on the body. Your body type is very different than my body type. So I will feel mine differently than yours. Yours is going to be much more elongated because of your longer torso.
Yeah.
And you just have to find what that feels like. So all of us have different body types, and there's been scientific evidence that we all feel our support and breath very differently depending on body type. But for you, it's going to require definitely that feeling of release of the rib cage.
Okay, cool.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No,
Any other questions from out here? Okay.
well,
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done,
Get
sir.
your water.
My name is Linda Zweig. I will be singing Monque sulla tavola.
Oh,
musician, or is this new to you?
Yes, I started singing 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. Very beautiful instrument. What would you like for me to address? I'm curious to know your interest. Vocally, presentationally.
Both technique and expression.
Uh-huh.
You know, I feel like I'm not that free when I express.
It's interesting, vocally, like in your delivery of the music, you're extremely expressive.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I hear it in your phrasing, but you do seem like you are reserved.
Yes.
In
I
presenting.
feel like I was not expressed more enough.
It's hard, isn't it, to put it on the outside
Yeah, yeah.
and not feel it on the inside. Part of that has to do with knowing the story, knowing the text, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
What do you want to address the most, like where I can improve the most?
Actually, I would love to deal a little bit with registration. I noticed that you have Butterfly on here, Madama Butterfly.
Yeah.
It's on your list, as well as
I was at the beginning. I was having singing all the soprano songs, but I had this register problem once I go to F, like it kind of really tight when I get to low, higher notes. So Dr. Hutchins has been helping me to do the lower, like mezzo songs, so I can really at least forget about the tightness of my muscles when I sing high.
that's great.
Yeah.
I
I feel like it's helpful.
I prescribe to doing those kinds of things as well.
Okay.
I think singing all different ranges really helps us to develop the voice.
Yeah.
So the music won't pull up on the iPad, but I just want to let's do the I want you to open your mouth and let yourself speak when you let it come into that part of the phrase. Could you just start there? Thank you.
This is the beginning of the second.
Either
part.
one, whichever one you want to sing, it does the same little noodle on the way
Okay.
down. Okay? Okay, there's one more beat. There's one more beat.
Yes.
I want you to
That's where I'm now very
Yes.
comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want you to just pick your head up like I'm showing
Yeah.
you and leave the mouth tall. I know
Okay.
this feels really redundant. We keep saying the same thing. But it's all about releasing the voice first.
Yeah.
Right? And not worrying about manicuring the sound to be pretty, which
Right.
it already is.
Yeah.
So let yourself pick up your head and open your mouth tall. You go,
Oh yeah.
right? I'm not singing right now. Thank you. Open. Good, but don't slow down. It's already long enough as it is. Right, the phrase is already long. Keep it moving in motion.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you're descending, sing louder, not quieter.
Okay. Okay. I will.
Yeah? And when you breathe, and this goes for all of you, I don't mean to turn my back to you all. When you breathe, make sure that it's meaningful. Like sing, when you take a breath, actually breathe. Sing
Yeah.
what? Right? When you take that breath, it's like a sip.
Yeah.
Instead, like we were talking about with Benjamin, take a breath.
Okay.
Okay? Pick up that head. Same spot, please, Fabio. Tall. Louder. Good breath now. That was not a good breath. Do you hear what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we rewrite this in here so we could get a breath. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it is without looking at the music.
Yeah.
But when you breathe, really breathe.
Okay.
Okay? Fabio's not going to go on.
Okay.
Louder. Louder. Good breath. Louder. Louder. So what did you start doing as you came down in pitch with your head? What did she do?
Start to push harder, like here.
Yes, but what did she do with with her head?
Like, oh yeah, I was.
If I do this, what does this do? This allows me to stay in my head voice. I still want to feel this head resonance. But instead I want you to do the opposite. Ma tendresse.
Yeah.
I don't want pretty. I want it to be really ugly, crackly, messy right now. As you discover what it's like to sing or access this part.
Okay.
So I firmly believe the trouble you have in the upper part of your register is also relational to the lower part.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I pinch and hold on this way,
Yeah.
it's going to do the same thing when I go that way.
Yeah.
Typically, when I develop a voice, I start from the middle and go out.
Uh-huh.
I don't go, oh, you have high notes, let's work on your high notes. Oh, you have low notes, let's work on your low notes. Then we start in the middle and we go this way and go, oh, we have to open this up, oh, we have to open this up, because if you work on this, this gets better, this gets better, this gets better. And typically, students that are developed have about a 3-octave range. A voice like Dr. Hutchins, he has a big range because he's a big open voice,
Yeah.
right? But you have to start here
Yeah.
and leave it open. Don't direct it to go somewhere that's comfortable for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like I can speak this way to you. You seem like, yeah, and I love it. So let's do it. Try that one more time. Head up and loud. Keep your head up. Good breath. Loud. 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 Tall. Oh, she's pushing me hard. She's like, no, I really want to tuck my head down. No. If you just leave it there.
Okay.
What? Seriously, I'm getting all worked up now. Singing is 99.9% psychological. She so wants to control it on the way down. And if
Yes.
she does this, it will go the way she wants it to. Right?
Yes.
I don't want it to go the way you want it to go.
Okay.
I want it to go the way I want it to go.
Okay.
So don't fix.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
You did it on the first one. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second one, please, Fabio. What's the text? Same? The text? Verse-moi. Verse-moi. Can you say the v?
V.
What did I do? No. V.
V.
Good breath. Tall, loud. Yes! Do you see what happened to you? Her larynx went down. It went down on that last note.
Yeah.
It's scary, isn't it?
No, I have to let it go because I cannot hold it anymore.
Yes!
Yeah.
It won't let you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah?
It's like gargling.
Yeah, it feels like gargling.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone do that. So, ivressa. Good. Do you mind if I touch your neck?
No.
Okay, now do that.
Yeah.
Dr. Hudson? I'm going to voice you a little bit. Okay? I'm going to make you make some ugly sounds. You can turn towards me if you want to. Just let this go. Louder.
In my experience, I've taught a lot of voices. And in my experience, a lot of ladies have the wrong identity of chest voice. They associate the pressing sensation with chest voice. And all that is pressing. Right? And that's kind of what she's doing here. It's like you're actually going to get more chest resonance by letting it go. And that's exactly what she's doing. Because we go, to try to feel chest voice. That's just pressing. That's just compression. That's slamming the highway bone with it. That's not chest voice. That's why I like chest resonance. It's like you're taking the floor out and allowing it to resonate here. Instead of you take the floor away. Depth with no floor. Make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry.
From the top to the bottom. There's a relationship to what's happening here, I'm sure, to what's happening in the top part of your voice. Right? And a lot of it will have to do with squeeze, too much air, overbuilding of pressure, etc., etc. Can we try it again, please, Maestro? From same place. From, say for me, there.
There.
Yeah. Do you hear how I start the V on a lower pitch? If we say the word, everyone say very.
Very.
Right? And the V is at a low pitch. So in order for us as singers to articulate the letter V, it has to vibrate lower so that our audience can hear the, vecchia, whatever, right? So, and you can hear my voice then. Yes! Yes.
Yeah.
Pick up your head, open your mouth tall, and continue. Go! just a second. Thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, I have to really let this go,
Yes.
let go, let this go, and like have lots of support here.
Yeah, it changes.
And I feel more solid, like more solid in this part. I feel like more vibration in this part.
Lower
yeah,
register involvement.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
That
like,
makes sense.
Like stronger at the lower range, the sound is a lot
So
stronger.
how did
more
the
solid.
How did the G flat feel? Did you feel that feeling that time?
The
That note, did that feel pinched? Was that what you described it as?
No, I do not feel that here in
You
this
did.
song.
You didn't feel it on that
No,
one, right?
No. Yeah, I do not feel the pinch on the high notes anymore. Like since I started lately, I feel like more comfortable in the higher notes.
Yeah. Have you sung the butterfly in a while?
No, I do not sing it. I haven't sung it for a long time.
So just drop that hit. Stay up there. How's that feel?
Pretty relaxed.
Relaxed. Released or relaxed? Or easy?
Easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that sits up in that higher range. I mean, the whole roll sits up there. Do you feel the release of what you just did in the lower register help the top?
Oh yeah, it does actually. I feel like more. The sound is like a triangle. You have really good like a
That's
foundation,
Yeah.
a foundation, and then when you go high, it kind of really support like easy. It's not like this.
Yes.
And this is like you have like more stable and more supported.
It's actually a brand new image that we just started using in teaching. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
fascinating that she just used it. Anyway, we're good, huh? I feel like we gave you. Oh, you want to say something?
I just want to do
Look
one
out.
thing because this will tie in with what she's doing, but it's actually a good thing for all of us, which is make sure that when you take a breath, that your throat is actually open.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times we as singers we get guilty of not actually opening our throats when we take a breath. That's the whole point. Have you ever heard anybody talk about taking a quiet breath? Why is it quiet? It's quiet because the glottis is open, right? But if it's not, right? So here's what I want everybody to do. Take your breath. That's why I don't like nose breathing personally, because everybody close your mouth and take a big nose breath. I don't know about you, but I feel my throat do this when I do that. I feel it suck in,
Yeah.
right? So do this now. Open the mouth, and when you take a breath, let your throat go so that you feel the cool air come in your mouth. I don't want you to feel your entire throat full of cool air all the way down to your lungs. You feel that? You feel like it dries your throat out? It's coolness, right? It should do that every single time you take a breath in the middle of a song. Otherwise, like you're half holding in between breath. And guess what? This isn't going to release either.
No. Yeah.
Right? If this is tight, this is it. It's got to both go. Every breath, full release, full opens. Feel that coolness on every one. And you get to do it where you can do it fast, right? But the tendency is for us is to all hold just a little bit, to keep control over the mechanism, to keep it set to receive the sound, even when we take that breath. Instead of so that it's open every time. That's habitual. You routine it so it happens automatically. Yeah? And I feel like you a little bit, you kind of want to hold the voice when you take a breath, you kind of want to hold it in position so you can start the next sound. Rather than totally renewing and opening the instrument every time.
Yeah, but someone gave me advice that you're supposed to, when you finish, you breathe in at the same same position, so you can keep the the same line, you know, the
Yeah,
music
yeah.
going. So it sounds like he does not want me to start like all the time, every phrase like restart like this. So is there a balance I can
So-
do this balance?
So
between
I would
this?
say, let me expound that a little bit farther. I want you to be as open at the end of the phrase as you are at the beginning of the phrase,
Oh, okay.
right? So, yeah, we want to have the same position at the end of the phrase, into the breath, into the start of the next phrase. But the assumption is that you stayed open through the phrase.
Yes.
But if you start the sound with a little closure and then sing, if you don't reopen, you start the next phrase with the same tension.
Yeah.
And so what I mean is like the tension that you feel in your voice,
2 minutes.
you put it in on your inhalation.
Yeah.
You don't take an open free breath. And so you position the throat during the inhalation for the position where you expect the sound to be. Rather than releasing it. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's unified, but it's unified like this. And I want it unified like that.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Just connect that dot.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? We can take a few minutes for some Q&A if we want.
If you have any questions, please.
That's okay for a minute.
Right on. There are no more questions.
Great. You guys were a great class. Thanks for being so open and willing to try new things and receptive to our craziness.
Yeah, our craziness.
Let's give a last round of applause to our